I have a problem with the way this series is being painted. I keep seeing the same phrase used over and over again to describe Brewers Dodgers in the NLCS. And that, of course, is David versus Goliath. And while I understand why people are painting it that way, the Dodgers are first in MLB payroll in 2025. The Brewers are mid-20s. It's a mid-market team versus one of the two biggest markets in American sports in Los Angeles. It's the reigning World Series champions against a team that some people, I think, caught lightning in a bottle and won 97 games in the regular season with a group of misfits led by the likely back-to-back NL Manager of the Year, Pat Murphy. It doesn't feel to me like this is David versus Goliath. Now, we obviously know the name of David versus Goliath because, well, David won, and that would be the Brewers in this case. But this doesn't feel fair to the matchup we have. Sure, the Dodgers are riddled with generational talents and superstars, but that didn't matter in the regular season when the Brewers won all 6 games between these two teams. It doesn't feel to me like the team that has home field advantage in the series is getting the respect they deserve. Whether you look at sportsbook odds of the winner of this series or you listen to the national commentary around this, as I call them, group of misfits, it doesn't feel like they belong, when in fact, what we've said since May is the Brewers continue to prove they belong. So this series, 7 games, World Series spot on the line, just feels like a great opportunity for the Brewers to do what they've done all season long, and that is show that they belong. So to me, this isn't David versus Goliath. This is more Ali Frazier. These are the two best teams in the National League all season long. And the team that proved they were superior in the regular season were the Brewers. They're Ali in this matchup. And while the Dodgers, yes, they won the World Series last year. Yeah, maybe they lifted the world heavyweight belt before. But they're not the favorite here. The team that's going to get 4 home games in this series. The team that won 97 games in the regular season. The team that swept the regular season series, they're Muhammad Ali. The Brewers are Ali, and the Dodgers are Frazier going into this series. Both great. It's going to be viewed as a heavyweight title bout because the World Series is on the line. But I don't view this as David versus Goliath. I view this as Ali versus Frazier.
That's cute. It's payrolls. It's talent.
Sure.
It's superstar. It's Hall of Famers.
But the highest payroll doesn't equal a championship every year, Joshy. We're smarter than this.
Sure doesn't. But when you have more recess, more resources, when you have what people would envision as more talent, you are going to be put in that category. Let's be frank. About every single team in the MLB is David to the Dodgers Goliath. The Mets, the Phillies, the Yankees. Do we include anyone else? Maybe the Cubs, even though they're kind of like...
They're like number 9.
They're kind of like little brother to Goliath.
They're little brother to David, actually. Get it right.
True. Fact. Also fact. But I meant in terms of... I'm not going to bury my head in the sand on this. The Dodgers are a damn good baseball team and have no reason not to be a World Series winner again. That doesn't mean over the course of 7 games they won't lose to the Milwaukee Brewers, because the style of play that the MLB playoffs require is one that's rather conducive to the way the Brewers do play the game. But let's not cut ourselves short here. Shohei Ohtani's over there. Mookie Betts is over there. Freddie Freeman's over there.
Again, I said...
Blake Snell's over there.
I get you have some generational talents, right?
Yeah.
They have a bunch of really good players who, if we were to power rank the best players in the series, the top 5 probably are on LA.
9, probably?
That's probably far.
Take pitching into account.
Include pitching?
Freddie's not getting the credit he deserves then, would be the argument I'd make.
Yeah, fair. Maybe Freddie's 7, and then you can slot in. The thing is, baseball is baseball. And that's not incredibly profound, but what it means is Freddie Freeman might not show up.
Yep.
He could be 1 for 30 in this series.
Joey Ortiz might show up.
But again, I know we're doing the payroll thing, and you get all these generational talents, but let's keep in mind, payroll is only part of this story. It's 3 times the amount of the Brewers. I get that. I understand.
That's a lot more.
It's like $350 million versus
is the same as the Brewers' payroll. That's how much more
I understand
they pay.
that. I get that. But we got to stop acting like the Brewers are some massive underdog in this series because of it.
Well,
because the number 2 payroll in baseball didn't even make the freaking playoffs this year.
Yeah.
And I understand it's the Mets and they are incompetent.
Special time.
I understand that, right? I get it entirely.
Yes.
But that is just the proof. That is reality.
Here's the thing. If it was up to payroll and payroll alone, the Dodgers would have won every World Series for the past 10 years.
Correct.
But it's not. And it never has been. But if you're able to do it, you should be even more proud of yourselves. Let me tell you, the Brewers are thinking of themselves as the underdog, and it's half the motivating factor. They know we aren't as highly regarded as pretty much anyone on that other roster. Mm-hmm. But guess what? We play baseball the right way. We play we don't make errors, and we show up in big moments. And that's going to be what decides it. Are there going to be enough moments for the Brewers, enough big moments, enough big performances that elevate them game by game? I expect them to lose a game or two this series. Hunter, I'm sorry, that might be hard to hear, but I expect them to lose as many as 3. There's no reason the Brewers can't take this to Game 7 and win it on their home field like they did the Cubs in Game 5. The recipe's there. You've beat them 6 times. Yes, there was a lot of injuries, but guess what? You still beat them, and you can still beat them again. Those games, the Brewers were far better in those games. And that's just, are they going to be able to string together another performance like that over the course of 7 games? I think, with what I've watched throughout the course of the year, the Brewers barely lost 3 games in a row. They have the home field advantage. Everything you would want to be going in their favor, they have. The only thing is they've got Terminator, they've got Wolverine, they've got
the Predator,
freak shows. Yeah, they've got freak shows over there. And you're going to need to have some of them have really bad series. And it's happened in the past. Mm-hmm. The Brewers could do it, but I'm not going to slight the Dodgers. I'm not going to disregard them. I'm not going to go in here thinking, this is going to be easy. Everyone knows. If you go 7, you feel really damn good about that 7th game in AmFam Field.
Shohei. Go play. No way. Yo, hey.
What are we doing?
Brewers in 5.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, that was awful.
Why don't you leave that kind of stuff to me?
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Horrible.
Strouf, I don't understand your almost all season you have played into the Brewers being underdogs. Even to the point once they had the best record in baseball and they were playing like the best team in baseball in the regular season, you were still like, this is an underdog team. They're misfits. Like, that was exactly what you talked about regularly.
They are misfits. I still stand by that. Yeah.
But now all of a sudden it's like, oh, no, now they're not. Like, no, they still are, man.
It's still a group of misfits. I don't think that changes. But the proof is in the pudding. We have a 170 roughly game sample size for both of these teams. I mean, they're that good. Just because it's a bunch of guys who maybe going into the season you didn't expect to be as good as they are. Will's twin, Caleb Durbin, becoming an everyday third baseman for you, right? That's something you didn't see coming. Blake Perkins and Jacob Mizorowski and Chad Patrick playing the crucial roles they have. Andrew Vaughn reviving himself from practically the dead in Chicago. You've got a group of guys who are truly super talented, clearly, but you didn't expect them to all come together through the power of friendship and create the winningest team in baseball and an unbelievable home field atmosphere that rivals anybody left between Seattle, Toronto, and LA. The fact of the matter is the Brewers are the best team in baseball, And I get that. Okay, yeah, their payrolls, the Dodgers payroll is 3 times as much as the Brewers is. And they have all this generational talent, and they have all these great players, and they're the reigning World Series champions. I understand all of that. But the proof is in the pudding in terms of what we have seen. The sample size is large enough. The Brewers are better than everybody else. They just have been. So, to your point earlier, Hunter, the expectation is to win a World Series. I agree with that. The expectation is to win a World Series when you have the season the Brewers have. So, bring on the disrespect if you want to, but again, I don't view this as David versus Goliath. That's my ultimate point here. That's the narrative that has bothered me all weekend since the Brewers won on Saturday night, because it doesn't feel to me like this is David versus Goliath. That's like saying it's the Reds versus the Dodgers in the NLCS, or like the Cardinals versus, that's David versus Goliath. This is the best team, the best record in baseball, who swept you in the regular series versus apparently Goliath because they have a massive payroll. We have proof. This is the better team.
But Strouf, literally what you were talking about with the team and how no one expected Caleb Durbin to be an everyday third baseman. Nobody expected this. Nobody expected the Miz yet. Those things have never been said about a single one of the players the Dodgers have. That's why they're Goliath. Those guys were guys that were drafted, and instantly people were like, oh, yep, they're amazing. And then the Dodgers grabbed them if they weren't already in their organization. That's the difference. That's why they're still Goliath in this, because every one of those players were expected to be generational talents, and they have been generational talents.
How many Milwaukee Brewers rosters could fit inside the contract of Shohei Ohtani?
Several, I would imagine. Yeah.
Is it 5 or 6?
Yeah, it's got to be something like that.
I think I understand where you're coming from, and the results are the results. The players are the players, and the team is what the record is. But I also think you're kind of doing a disservice for just how impressive Pat Murphy's job has been, how impressive Matt Arnold
I'm doing
has
a disservice.
Right, because you're like, well, they're just like them. Well, no, they're not.
No, I'm not saying they're not.
Knows.
I've called them misfits 100 times.
I don't know what your challenge of David and Goliath is. Like, Vegas, have you looked at the series odds?
Yeah, I think it's ridiculous. I'm going to put some cheddar on the Brewers. I'm going to be happy I did.
By the way, I crunched the numbers real quick.
But they're doing it objectively. There's no phantom.
I don't know about that.
So
there you go. When I bring up a good point and you don't like it, nah.
I crunched the numbers. Shohei Ohtani, $700 million contract. The Brewers payroll, $122 million. 5.73 Brewers
Wow.
rosters.